Hey
What's up,
guys.
Jdeg?
I'm, I'm here with Squash. A little surprised. It's been a while. Squash is back in Marvel Snap, and he
Mm.
wants to talk about new cards. Squash, how's it going? How's your experience been coming back into Marvel Snap? I know that there's a lot new cards and archetypes, a lot of changes and stuff like that. So I deliberately tried not to talk about Marvel Snap with you while we were setting things up. So I really want to hear like what are you thinking? What do you think about the game?
Yeah. Honestly, I think I took a break starting in about February or March. I think that's the time frame. I think around there, that's when like Agamotto came out.
Yeah.
Wasn't really vibing with it. I don't know if it was like an objective problem of quality or anything. I just felt like I had been so insanely obsessed with this game since beta, like literal first
Yeah.
week of beta.
I remember. I remember.
Yeah, and it just kind of got to a point where I was like, maybe 6 months off or so is gonna refresh me, and I didn't force myself back or anything. I just like honestly, it was the tech patch where they nuked like,
Yeah.
Shang Chi, Shadow King, Enchantress went to a 5 drop. That's actually one that they stuck with. That was really cool, but
Yes. Yeah.
it was really I was when I saw that I was like, okay, they're actually experimenting with some stuff, and they did stick with some of the changes in that patch, which I really appreciate. And game's in a good spot. I'm having a blast, man. I actually think it's awesome.
Okay.
I I see people who aren't having as much fun with it, and sometimes I think that comes down to they were having the same problem as me, where it's just like it was time for a break. But right now, it's a blast. I loved the most recent season with the zombie horde stuff. I actually really like that package of cards. So I've been having a ton of fun playing it every day.
Okay. I'm really glad. Yeah, because I definitely think like that was a good point to take a break. Because like I don't know. I feel like the last maybe half a year to like three-fourths of a year, like there have been a decent amount of whiffs
Sure.
in terms of just like boring designs and stuff like that. I really like the direction that they're taking the game right now with kind of hurting the tech cards and making it more synergy focused. Like we had a couple. You weren't there for Dormammu, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Dormammu was like the super sick destroy card, and
Yep.
he is kind of mediocre, right? But like, you get to come into the game, be like, wow, like let me try this card, and they've buffed him a little bit, right? So you're not like playing him at his worst, you know what I mean? So
Totally.
there's a lot of stuff that you can come into the game. Is there like a certain season that you're like, oh man, like I love the designs in this, like I wish I had played when these first came out?
It's tough to say because I coming back after 6 months where I was not very closely following things. I don't know actually what was really coming out together. I guess like
Okay.
I would say one season I'm kind of glad I missed was the peak of the first steps, like Fantastic
Yeah.
Four stuff. I'm glad that that stuff has been reined in. I'm not a big fan of Invisible Woman first steps in particular, and I imagine she was
Yeah.
like particularly crazy earlier on when she was around. But
Yeah.
no, it's a decent number of the cards that I did not get to experience when they came out. I'm like learning them brand new right now. I'd say some that come to mind that I really like are Kid Omega. And I think that's
Yeah.
interesting that that's one that stands out to me because I think that was the card that was embroiled in like controversy, right? Because it was
Yes. Yes, it was. Yeah.
super
Yeah. I
difficult
don't
in
know.
the
You weren't
game
there for
mode.
that, huh? Right.
I know I was not. I was not involved in
Okay.
that whatsoever.
Yeah, I'll give you like a little story. So I'm sure you heard like he was just a pay to win, not a pay to win. He was part of this. I think it was a high voltage, and like you
Okay, yeah.
couldn't get him normally, but you had to spend money basically to get the extra gold to buy him,
Yep.
and like it just really like pampered because it sucked. He wasn't even coming out in the Young Avenger season, which sucked. The only playable
Yeah.
card that season was Surge,
Hmm.
and so at least S5 card was Surge. So Kid Omega comes like later in the next month, and it's like at the same time as some other card, and all these people don't get it because you have to pay for it,
Yep.
and so like he just doesn't see play, and like he was one of the most hyped cards in data mined, and I still maintain like he would be seeing more play right now if people had gotten that initial like he is the card of the week that we're all trying that week, you know what I
I
mean?
believe that. Yeah.
Um, and I do maintain that like he has a lower play rate than he would have had even now if he had initially gotten that like first spike and people all trying him, you know what I mean?
Right. For me, it was just like I was opening snap packs, which I guess is something that I should also mention as like they
Yeah.
implemented that between when I started the break and when I came back, and I think it's fantastic. It's not perfect, but it's the best collection system Snap has
Yeah.
ever had. And I've been just picking up cards as I get, to that 3,000 collector tokens every whatever chunk of, collection track, and ripping packs, and just it actually feels like partly the goal that Snap had in the first place, which is that you don't have full control over your collection necessarily, but it's still fun because enough of the cards are cool that I can rip a pack and be like, the odds are decent. I'm going to get something that I'm cool with experimenting with. You mentioned Dormammu. I do not own
Yeah.
Dormammu, but I would like to. He seems pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't mind
Great.
that he's not like the most powerful card, but I would totally check him out if I opened it, but I just haven't yet. But that keeps me wanting to open the packs, and I think it's really cool how they implemented that, and it seems like a success.
Great, man. I'm glad. I'm glad. What sorry, I should say you said that you were happy with zombie season.
Oh yeah,
Let's start talking about the next season because I actually
let's
do
do it.
think, and I want to kind of preface this. I don't know how much you've looked at these cards, but I feel like a lot of them actually work really well with Zombie Scarlet Witch because this is
Mm,
a kind of a move season, and Zombie Scarlet Witch loves movers.
yes, she
And I
does.
also think that a lot of these cards are worth looking at Werewolf by Night as well. So I just want to kind of like preface you while we're looking at these cards to keep those two cards in mind as well. But yeah,
Absolutely.
let's start it.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
do it.
switch the slide over to the season pass card, which is Spider Punk. Your image has 3-2. There's rumblings that he's actually a 3-3, which is interesting. And we can
There
discuss,
are.
yeah, we can discuss the ramifications of that. But his text says you can move this once. When this moves to a location, steal 2 power from the highest power enemy there. And you gave this, well, I guess you want to go over the star rating after we talk about the card. So I
Yeah.
would say, I actually think that so in the past we've had 3 energy movers, right? Nocturne, Rocket, and Groot, and both of these cards kind of had the exact same fate, which is that they came out, they were extremely strong, they nerfed it by 1 power, and then it became unplayable. So
Yep.
there's this pattern of like 3 energy movers being like 1 power off. And I think at 3-2, Spider Punk might have been one of those, but at 3-3, I really like this guy. You're kind of getting like a 3-7. And the unique thing that I like about him the most, and I'm glad that you highlighted the synergy piece on the slide, which is it's the only self mover that specifically rewards you for moving it. You can kind of
Yeah.
argue that Nocturne does that, but not really. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that makes him like uniquely good and proactive with Miles Morales, and that's the synergy that I like the most here. I want to try Spider Punk in like a Moon Girl Miles Morales deck or something like that, but even
Yeah.
just like mid-rangey move stuff. The fact that he activates his ability every time you move it, no matter how you do it, makes it like kind of cool with like Heimdall or something. And so like, there's cool stuff going on here. I really like this card.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to first, like, I think that there's two directions that we can talk about this card in, right? And I think that that one power bump matters a lot in
Yeah.
one direction and not as much in the other direction, okay?
Okay.
So let's start on just like full move where you're playing Human Torch, you're playing Vulture and stuff, right?
Yeah.
In that deck, so this is kind of just like a pre-rework Vulture. I don't know if you were there for the move rework, but basically they made Human Torch a 3/3 and Vulture a 1/2.
Yep.
That only gets +3 instead of +6, right? So now Spider Punk is kind of comparable to old Vulture. Obviously, he's better. Um, the less move procs you do. And so yeah, Spider Punk is just really easily slot in there. You play this on turn 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 you have a move that you can do. And if you don't have a card that moves at that turn, you can manually move it yourself, and it's just an easy shoe in there, like easy peasy, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Um, and so yeah, that was like my initial as a 3/2. He's a 3/6 on immediately off of his own move, and then +4 every time that you yourself move him, whether that be Heimdall or something else, right? Easy peasy. Obviously, it doesn't scale as much as Human Torch, but like I said, he kickstarts himself,
Yep.
so he has a way easier like fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that one's an easy peasy. Like, okay, you're just gonna add it in. Vulture is already kind of mediocre as a 1/2 that only gets +3. So Spider Punk can just easily slot in there, I think, right? Obviously, he doesn't work as well with bounce, but like in a
True.
regular, like full-on move package, he seems like an easy shoe-in. But now we talk about like regular mid-range. What I'm thinking, Squash, is like where would I want to play Nightcrawler, but like Nightcrawler just isn't good enough. It's like Zombie Scarlet Witch, right? So
Yeah,
I can play Zombie Scarlet Witch on turn three and play Spider Punk in like a one cost skill or whatever in her lane.
sure.
And then I move out of the lane, I have extra procs on my Zombie Scarlet Witch later. And I can play Miles Morales, right?
Yeah.
In that place, what are we talking about? We have a 3/6 that has that extra synergy, which is a small synergy for what it's worth, but you have that extra synergy with Zombie Scarlet Witch. And you can play a couple other movers like maybe Sam Wilson, and now you have Miles Morales, right? So in that deck, initially what I was on was that as a 3/2, I didn't think it was really enough. Um, because like we talk about Nocturne and stuff. I don't want to say Spider-Punk is at that same level where you can move it because you have to move him, right? You
Yeah.
can you like if you leave him at the place that you put him on turn three,
It's bad.
um, he's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a 3/2. If you play him on turn six, he's a 3/2. Old Nocturne was still a 3/5 if you played her on turn six. She's
True.
still a 3/5 if you see her, right?
And
So
that, yeah,
that's a
that matters.
downside. But as a 3/3, as a
Yeah.
3/3 squash, I think it's just too good. I think it's too good to say no to, right?
I think it's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I
Mm.
don't want to say he's overpowered because you have to move him in a sense. But I do think that he's just an easy slot in for those decks as just an extra three drop for those decks that would want that, right? Some Zombie Scarlet Witch builds might not want that, right? But I
Sure.
think that it's a direction that they can do, and now you're not forced to play like Nocturne or like Spider-Man or something that you didn't really want to be playing with Zombie Scarlet Witch before.
Yeah, this guy's just like really stable and consistent and reliable stuff. And it's, yeah, if you're getting extra bonuses in terms of something like a Miles Morales or you're getting a proc on your Zombie Scarlet Witch, it's like, it's a really juicy proposition. So at 3
Yeah.
3, I think it's a 4-star card. And
Yes,
so
yeah.
that's like the minor, I guess. So, but you agree though.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I should preface that I gave it the 3 stars when we thought it was a 3/2. I
Mm,
should have updated the stars. I definitely do give it a 4 star now as a 3/3. But it just goes to show like how big that 1 point difference is. You know what I mean?
I really do think it's enormous, and like I could see a world where it gets nerfed back down to 3/2, and then it's just nothing. It's not a card
Yeah.
anymore. Those breakpoints become so fine in a game like Marvel Snap, where the numbers are kept really low. So we'll see
Yeah.
though, and he gets bonus points because it's a sweet character, and he's got some sick
Yeah.
variants. Man, that one you
Yes.
highlighted up there is a real nice variant. That's the season pass
Yeah.
variant, right?
It's the season pass. It's a
Mm.
Creative House Pocket. They all do like a little collage. It's what it's called.
Oh yeah,
And I love it. This is probably the first season where I might get one or two cards that where I just pay the 10 or $20 for that spotlight variant and how they're doing it now. So
sure.
yeah, it's a really cool art style.
Love it. All right, Spider Punk, excited for that one. Let's move on to the next card, which is the super premium season pass guy that you can get if you pay $20, which
Yeah.
another feature that I will shout out that I have been taking advantage of because I like how they do it. And you get a nice you always get nice borders with it, you know? Like it's a nice little feature. Um
Yeah.
but Man Spider is a 5/1 with on reveal merge the last card you played into this. When this merges, double its power. And what's cool about it is that you don't have to play it on like the same location as the last card you played. You can play this anywhere and it will merge the last card you played regardless of where it is. And you highlighted stuff like uh excuse me, a negative ongoing such as Typhoid Mary is a very excellent like kind of idea here, and you could also do like Starbrand, or if you want to get really big you could eat a Red Skull, and then this thing is a 30 power. And Second Dinner also highlighted an interesting possibility where you curve Electro into it. That's not too bad. You get a it'd be 12 power, so curve your 3 into your 5, and then the Electro's gone. It seems all right. It's not the most exciting card in the world, and I don't think it's ever going to be amazing, but I could see it having some niche homes, so I think your star rating of 2 is reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know. I gave it 2 stars, but I was literally thinking about this card yesterday because I remembered I just like I said, I try not to look at your opinion, but I saw you talking about Star Brand and stuff. And I was thinking about we had an old friend for viewers. We had an old friend named Bach, right?
Mm,
And Bach at the beginning of the season when we had the initial Series 5 cards, he saw Shuri.
mm.
And back then Shuri was what was she like a 4/4, 4/5, something
Gosh,
crazy.
something, yeah.
And you could play her and like you could play the next card in any lane and it would get doubled, right?
Yep.
And I'm seeing that here, Squash. I'm seeing Command Spider, and you can play that in any lane because that was one of the huge like disadvantages of Shuri nowadays
True.
is that you have a player in a lane and your opponent knows where it's gonna go, and they can ditch that lane and say, okay, either they're gonna do some kind of combo thing, I'm gonna play my tech card there, or they're gonna go huge in that lane. Let me focus in the other 2 lanes, right?
Yep.
And that was it was a huge nerf to Shuri, right? Well, Man Spider, we can adjust where we want to play that big card. You know, if I play my Typhoid Mary left, oops, they played some card that I don't want to contest. Let me play my Man Spider in another lane.
Yeah.
And that's huge. You can play your Man Spider on turn 5, and it's a big, a 22 power because you copied your 410.
Yep.
And you can Ghost Spider it somewhere on turn 6, right? Like that's big. You can play an Agony beforehand, play your Typhoid Mary, play your Man Spider in the Agony lane, and
It
it'll
double
become a
doubles.
522.
Yeah.
Then the Agony will come in. It'll be a 550, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then you have the Arnim Zola or Taskmaster that you can follow it up with.
Sure.
So the cards I'm saying, Arnim Zola, Taskmaster, they don't really give much I don't know, much confidence because they haven't been really good cards recently that
Sure.
like it's kind of known as those little combo card Timmy cards that like fall on their face a lot of the time. But I see a line, and a line is like the start of something. It's the start of a deck, right? So maybe there's something more. Maybe I should have this higher.
You
But
know,
for now, just because I can't have that confidence in Armazola and Taskmaster. So
sure.
yeah, what do you think?
Something that is cool about it to me is that it kind of strikes fear into your opponent's heart because it's like a juke card and
Yeah,
you could like juke the juke. You know what I mean? Like there are going to be matchups where your opponent's like, okay, I need to play around their man spider, but you don't have it. And if it becomes a thing where it's known that this is a regular card in like like a Sauron deck, which I think is a very reasonable place for it to end up. And yeah, I mean, it's like, oh no, is their Typhoid Mary actually going to stay there, or is he about to man spider and get their 22 in a different lane?
yeah,
And I don't know, there's some mind gamey stuff you can play in there, which matters in a game like Marvel Snap where you're gambling cubes over games.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't. I think the window of cards that it works with is narrow enough that it's hard to give this like a super high star rating or anything, but I'm not gonna like write this off as unplayable. That is for sure. I think Electro
Yeah.
and Sauron big stuff could both absolutely end up with this reasonably.
Yeah, it's just one of those cards where like if you can get the cards together, I think that there's something. It's just like you have to play these bad cards that like you're
Yeah,
struggling to find other synergies where this is like bad if that line doesn't come together, you know what I mean?
yeah. Okay. Let's see what's next. I don't actually even know at this point. I'm basically I kind of know the cards this month, but we're just going
Okay.
along for the ride here. Web Sling. Okay, yeah. This is stuff I'm super excited for. It is a one energy skill on reveal next turn. You can move one of your cards away from here. That just seems really good. I mean, I don't really. It's not. Doesn't seem like a very difficult assessment for me here because skills are great with Zombie Scarlet Witch, as you're saying there. Move is already a powerful archetype. Human Torch is crazy. You can do it with a dagger or whatever if you want. Um, I don't have a whole lot else to say. This seems great. I love the main deckable like cheap skills that they're doing now, like the hunger. Straightforward design, but one of my favorite cards in the game right now. And I am always happy to see cool little one energy on reveal skills. So excited for this one.
Gosh, this card scares me.
It
This
could
card
be just straight up scary. Yeah.
I don't like playing against Move. I don't like playing against Human Torch. I'll be honest. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so obviously this doesn't work as well as like Ghost Spider and Iron Fist in move bounce, but
True.
it's a one cost move. It's a one cost move, Squatch. Like, what am I gonna do here? I'm gonna play my Madam Web and my Human Torch and move it into a lane and web sling it so that I can move it back into the Madam Web lane. And there's so much.
What
And
about
so
the?
I
It's more juice for the like cooler underplayed move cards. Like I really like Red Wing. I want to use some web
this yeah.
sling with my bird. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true. That's true. Listen, I love this card for those deck squash, okay?
Okay. Okay.
I'm scared of the Human Torch stuff. I'm happy to see this in every other deck. Like I wanted to ask you, like, do you think that this is a card? Because Ghost Spider as a 1/3, she's been seeing a little bit of play as like a turn 6 play where you move your 5 drop and play your other 5 drop somewhere else. Do you think that Web Sling can kind of fill a space similar to that, where you play this on turn 5
Hmm.
and you can move one of your cards there on turn 6?
I
Do you see this coming in with like a Werewolf by Night or Zombie Scarlet Witch deck? What do you think about that?
I think it's too telegraphed in the prior form that you mentioned, where like Ghost Spiders got utility in a deck like Scar just to like juke people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas if you're using Web Sling for it, your opponent knows that the move is coming and they'll be able to play around that. But in a
yeah,
Zombie Scarlet Witch Werewolf by Night deck, I think this thing looks sweet, and I want to implement like Miles Morales and Spider Punk in it type stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that I will definitely be cooking with. But yeah, I think it's something like that, and just pure move or whatever kinds of move. I think Human Torch move is already so efficient. Like I don't even know if this goes in it. Like probably it does, but it has so many options at this point. I
It
don't know.
does. It really. They have so many move cards at this point.
There are a lot. Yeah. So
But
I
yeah,
think
no,
yeah,
I
it's
appreciate you. Sorry, not to interrupt, but I appreciate you bringing up Spider Punk because yeah, I do like
mm,
that idea of Zombie Scarlet Witch. You can play your
yeah.
Spider Punk in your Web Sling. They did a recent patch where like if you have a Madam Web in a Nightcrawler lane, it doesn't take the Nightcrawler move if you move the Nightcrawler.
Oh, that's excellent.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so that comes into play for Spider Punk as well if you Web Sling it.
Heck
You're
yeah.
not going to lose your one manual as well. And yeah, you could also move the Zombie Scarlet Witch if it's in a full lane. You can move
Yep.
it into a new lane and fill that lane, right? So there's
Absolutely.
actually some pretty cool stuff there as well. I know another thing was like Werewolf by Night. A lot of the time, the problem
Mm,
is that you can clog yourself really easily,
yep.
and this helps you out with kind of clearing things up and making things easier to move around as well with Werewolf by Night. So I think there's some interesting stuff outside of just Human Torch shenanigans too.
Yep. And it's just like really cool and flavorful. Like
Yeah.
this is what it's the spider season, and this is just sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. All right. On to the next one. The Superior Spider-Man. So this is the first like regular Series 5 release of the month, I believe. And I think Web Sling is a Series 4 release. So Superior Spider-Man is a 3/4. At the start of each turn, you get +1 energy if you have any cards with increased power in play, which is a very interesting design because it's the kind of thing that like if you hit the right curve, that's just like active for the whole game, right? Like
Yep.
literally
Yep.
one proc of the horde, and that's a card with increased power. The Silver Sable, that's a cool variant that I have not seen before. Um, like you pointed out there, you just move your shield onto Sam Wilson, and these are wonky to me because I think this is pretty strong, but at the same time, it's like there's this weird conflict in play here where you want to play these cheap cards that power themselves up so that you can get your energy ramp, but then you want to play payoffs to ramp into. So you're comparing it to Electro. To me, it's like almost closer to something like Corvus Glaive in a weird way,
Yep.
where
Yeah.
it's like you're building something kind of weirdly specific that needs cheaper cards in order to enable your ramp, and then we'll figure
Yeah.
out what we're ramping into from there. Um,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of potential here and a lot of potential to cook, I think. So I'm pretty interested in this one, I would say.
Yeah, so let me preface this. I don't think this you're not gonna deck build this at least anywhere similar to Electro. So I've
Right.
seen let me say this is obviously broken if you not broken, but it's really good if you can get it to immediately proc. The problem is because I've seen a lot of YouTubers like losing their minds about this card, saying like, "Oh, this is gonna go in every deck." The problem is it can't go in every deck because there's
Right.
actually like not as many green power cards that get increased power on turn three. Because on turn four you might as well just be playing a Hope Summers, and Hope
Yeah.
Summers isn't really good, right? Hope Summers doesn't see a ton of play right now. So I want to preface that you really want a one or two drop that has that green power. That way on turn three, turn four immediately you're getting that bonus energy, right? But from that, there's only really like three or four archetypes that I found. You can try like a server thing with Forge, but that didn't really make sense to me because it's like only Forge and like Agony.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously Horde is fantastic with this. That's like an instant shoe in. Seems great. Only problem is that your three cost Superior Spider-Man kind of interferes with Zombie Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
That has a little bit of interference, but you could just play Superior Spider-Man turn three and Zombie Scarlet Witch plus whatever extra stuff with that energy, and it should be able to work out. I think that that's gonna be an instant shoe in. You have Silver Sable and like there's like Hawkeye. There's not a ton of stuff in Bounce. Not many people are playing Silver Sable just by herself, and I don't think this card is good enough to make people just play Silver Sable where Superior Spider-Man is the only synergy.
Yep.
Um, and then there's like High Evolutionary with like Sunspot and Misty Knight, and so I think that that's kind of interesting. That there could be something there. They've historically run Nebula, maybe they run Nebula too. Stuff like that can kind of work. But granted, it's not a really great deck. But they love Luna Snow. This is a one-sided Luna Snow for that deck, so I can see something there. And then obviously there's Sam Wilson, but Sam Wilson isn't a deck in himself,
What
so
about
it's like what.
Angela?
There's Angela as well. Yeah, I just think Angela's a bad card.
Yeah.
I don't even like her in my Zombie Scarlet Witch decks, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you can also a synergy as well. If you really want to go all in for that Horde Zombie Scarlet Witch thing, you can also run Angela. But that's really it. I don't remember anything else like really popping
Medusa.
off in my mind. So what?
Medusa. I don't
Medusa,
know.
yeah, Medusa was one of them. But I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not running Medusa for this.
Nah.
Like, come on.
It's,
I could run Silver Sable and Medusa all I wanted,
mm,
but like, how happy am I going to be with that?
it's tough to say.
Um, but yeah, so there's the cards, and like maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you do run Medusa and Silver Sable so that you can proc your Superior Spider-Man.
Hmm.
But I think that this card is really good, and the decks that run stuff like the Hunger, I think if High Evolutionary is ever good, then it'll be running this card. But I just don't think I don't think this is going to take over the game and be everywhere because it doesn't fit everywhere. But yeah, it seems like an instant shoe and it seems great for something like a Horde deck.
Yeah, and I'm trying to wonder if there's any like they're trying to make 7 cost cards a little bit more often. So it's like this could be some day down the line. Maybe there's a crazy 7 cost card, and this is just like part of getting you to 7 energy. For
And
now,
Zombie
it's like,
Galactus.
yeah. I mean, that's
Like maybe I'm missing, maybe you just go Forge Superior Spider-Man or you Forge the Zombie Galacti and like somehow activate the Superior Spider-Man some other way.
yeah.
That's
Maybe
another like crappy card that you could try and make work with Superior Spider-Man.
there's a decent chance the best zombie galactide deck uses this card, but yeah, for the most part, it's like I want to play with it with the Horde, which I feel like that's gonna be a recurring theme for me. But
Yeah.
but like just what's so sweet about the Horde cards is that it's mainly just a 3 card package: Hunger, Scarlet Witch, Giant Man, and then
Yep.
Zombie Mister Fantastic is pretty good. It's a good option. Zombie
Mhm.
Sentry is not it, in my opinion.
No,
But
no.
so 3 to 4 card package, and you can experiment with a lot beyond there. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited to
Really
see
cool.
if this has juice in there. But I think 3 stars is a good answer. I could definitely see it being really powerful in something, but you have to deck build about it in a unique way. So we'll see if that
Mhm.
pans out. So
Yeah.
all right, next card is going to be Ezekiel Sims, a 2/2 who's showing me his feet right now.
Yeah, he is.
After you play a card with higher power here, give this +2 power and move this to another location. Eh, um, I'm not like super moved by it. I don't think it's bad. Um, it's cool with like Hydra Stomper and Craven. That's really like all I see with it. And I kind of like that there are move decks like that where the game plan is like the quantity of moves rather than I'm just trying to move torch 4 times. You know what I mean? I think that's more
Mm.
interesting to buff a Craven and a Hydra Stomper than it is to get a 100 power Human Torch. But that's just me. Um, there are plenty of ways to activate this. I don't see it being like a general use card because you really need to be getting more out of him than just buffing him himself, I think. But I don't know. At 2 stars, that might be a little under his real power potential because like the Hydra Stomper deck is a real thing, right? Didn't that win like a Golden
It did.
Gauntlet or something?
It
So
did.
I don't know. He seems all right. I would have gone 3 stars, but I'm not super like excited for him personally.
So here's my problems, right? So in like the Hydra Stomper deck, just as an example, is there anything above 6 power in that deck? I actually can't remember. I know there's Miles Morales, which is like a great procer for this.
Yeah,
But like what else is there
they
that's
use like
above six
Silk and
power?
Bob. Those are. But yeah, you need to be something 5 or more power to get the second move. It
Yeah,
gets harder and harder to move it after each move, which is weird.
it is. And so I just don't like that. I don't like that he dictates where I play my cards. If I want to play my Miles Morales somewhere else, I can't because then I miss out on my Ezekiel Sims proc, right?
Yeah,
Or at least he's asking for it. And I don't like that. I don't like that it's like Silk where I can't predict which of the 2 lanes he's gonna go in. Is he gonna clog me? You
sure.
know what I mean? I don't like that he's kind of encouraging me to do like a 1 card every turn kind of deck where I'm just like curving out and ramping up my power, and I don't know where he's gonna go to plan out my game plan. You know what I mean? So I think that there's a lot on the upside. Obviously, he can go up to like a 2/8, pretty reasonably in a decent amount of decks, and maybe that's just enough. You just play some deck, and maybe there's some deck in the back of my mind that I'm not thinking about. I was thinking like Scream, like you just play Arrow and you play Miles and you play whatever else, you play Magneto or something, and he just happens to be like a 2/8 or something like that. You play Stegron.
Yeah, like
Um,
a two
but
eight
it's like,
that
is that
buffs your
enough, you
Craven once
know?
or twice. Yeah, like it.
Hmm. Like maybe that's decent. I feel like these Craven decks are really easy to just clog yourself by accident,
Yeah,
and that's why I don't know. Maybe it's just a big brain card that I can't figure out myself. But I just feel like this is gonna clog me.
yeah. It doesn't look like a card that I am excited to play. I'll definitely say that. And even like over time, I'm kind of over Silk. Like I'm not excited to put Silk in a deck personally. I used to be for a while there, but now there's just like I've gotten clogged or messed up by her going to the wrong lane too many times.
Yeah,
It's not worth it
yeah,
anymore.
yeah. And he's showing me his feet. Like he's just disrespecting me in so many ways, you know?
Seriously, get your feet out of my face, bro. All right. Let's see. Chameleon. Okay. A 3/3 with on reveal, copy the text of another card here you revealed this turn. And you're basically like you're just highlighting like 3 energy plays you can play alongside this on turn 6 because literally like it's really hard to imagine. I don't so here's what I really dislike about this. It has to be in the same lane.
Yeah, I hate that.
I
I
really
hate
don't
that.
like that. I get that they're worried like maybe this becomes just like better absorbing man or something otherwise, but like I don't know. You point out Cerebro, that seems particularly scary to me just in Cerebro
Yeah,
3 cuz Cerebro
yeah.
is a real card now. That's something that changed after my break started. They made him plus
Oh,
3.
nice. Yeah,
That thing is big, and so with Chameleon, like maybe you run Cerebro, Mystique, and Chameleon. I don't know, but regardless,
yeah.
that seems kind of scary. I don't know about Surfer. Like, I don't know if this is what Surfer needs, but it's a good shout. I just don't. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's not that good of a card. I think 1 star is probably on point. Actually,
Yeah, it's just a weird card because like you have Absorbing Man, Grandmaster, Mystique. Am I forgetting anything? Like Symbiote Spider-Man, I guess.
Silver
And so
Surfer
all of
first
those
steps kind
cards.
of.
Yeah, yeah. So those are first steps. There's like so many of these effects. And I think that they all do it like a little bit better than Chameleon. What I like about Chameleon is that like I can play some deck. What I'm thinking of is like Hazmat, like Ajax stuff. where like I can try and copy a hazmat, or I can do some invisible women stuff and copy like a Laufey or whatever, or an Ajax maybe if I really need power in that lane. That's the only thing I can really think of. But even in that deck, it's like you're already full of three drops in that deck. You're already running Diamondback and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and Luke Cage and Hazmat. So it's just an unfortunate cost for that deck. Like I don't know if there's any other Invisible Woman stuff, or like maybe even Malekith, where you pull Chameleon out with Malekith and play some six drop, and he Chameleon copies that. But you could already do that with like a Mystique or a Grandmaster again. So
Yep.
it's like, what exactly am I doing with this that I couldn't do with any of those cards? And I couldn't really think of anything easily, I should say.
Is there something like dumb you can do if you have a Sarah on the board?
I don't know. It's Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah's been unplayable, so I didn't think about her too much. But like again, if you're doing Sarah, like what's stopping me from doing Mystique or Grandmaster, you know?
Right. Yeah. Weird card. Not really feeling him. Not gonna be rushing out to get this guy. Okay. How about Spider-Man Noir? Oh, this one makes me kind of sad. Spider-Man Noir is a 4/4 with on reveal. If your other cards in play cost exactly 8 total, add the top card of your deck here, set its power to 8. And its stats have been buffed to 4/6, you're telling me. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That is a relief. Um so I love on paper what they're trying to do with this. You know, you're like solving a mystery. But it's just like in practice, if you play Marvel Snap enough, you
Yeah.
realize that just like shit happens, man. Like you're not gonna be able to fulfill this very often, and it's the kind of a thing where if you go past it, you're doomed. The card's a dud. You know what I mean? You can't like reverse. I mean, you can
Yeah.
like do something with like a Merlin spell, shuffle a card into
Yeah.
your deck, you know what I mean? But like for the most part, if you go past 8 because of like a monster island that puts the 6/10 into play,
Yes. I was
he's
thinking about that
he's a dead
too.
card, and that's a bummer, you know? Like so I don't think this card is good, but I honestly I'm going to get it because I love the character. I bet he's going to have sweet variants, and I just love every now and then there's a hipster card that comes around that I just want to play a bunch. You know what I mean? I want to have a 6 split on this guy, but I don't think it's good, sadly.
Watch, the only thing I could really think of, because it's just weird, because if you curve out, I was thinking like, what can I do with Quicksilver Domino? Um, so what? That's three cost in total. So I need five extra, right? So if I do Debris, I can get five. If I get Shanna and I just don't play the Quicksilver, then I can do a Spider-Man Noir. If I play Mysterio and like Domino and just like admit that my turns 1 through 3 were really awful,
Oh
then I
man.
can play Spider-Man Noir. Like there's the thing where you can do Mr. Sinister and you have to still perfect curve your 1 and your 3. So it's just like this worse Wiccan where like
Yeah.
I just really, really, really hope that I can get it off. But I can't guarantee it the same way that I can with Wiccan. There's even more hoops to jump through than Wiccan, right?
And I'm
Um,
not even sure if the payoff is as good as Wiccan. You know what I mean? Like you get a
yeah.
you get a bunch of power in one lane. All
hmm
right.
It's weird because all these are like token generators, and so that makes me want to play something like Patriot. But if I'm playing Patriot, I can't play Brood because that turns this off. I can't play Ultron because that would be an awful pull off of Spider-Man War.
Oh
It's just
wow.
like, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Oh man. Yeah, I
So
just
it's
cannot.
hard to deck build.
Yeah, I'm sure like a bunch of people are going to be putting their heads together to try and deck build this guy when he comes out just because it is a silly little puzzle that you can try to solve, but
Hmm.
power level there's just no shot, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
seems impossible in his current state with this text box. Dang, man. But that variant is sweet. I mean, you know, I
It's sweet,
love the
right?
like noir variants. So a
Yeah.
noir character is super up my alley. But
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, let's try the next one. Deafening Chord. Oh, this looks like a heck of a card. You only gave it 3 stars. Okay. One energy skill on reveal. Afflict an enemy character here that costs 3 or less with -1 power and remove its text. 3 stars, huh? Let's hear it. I want to hear you first.
Okay. You're right. You're right. So, obviously, we already have this with Red Guardian,
Yep.
and in a similar sense, Cosmic Ghost Rider. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like where am I playing this instead? Is this better than Red Guardian? You know, it's a whole card. Um, so is it worth devoting a whole card um to afflicting an enemy card or to removing the text of an enemy card, I should say. I feel like this is going to get overplayed in decks where it doesn't really belong. Um, but that being said, Zombie Scarlet Witch and Werewolf by Night are really, really good with this.
Yeah.
Um,
That's all it really is for me.
yeah. So I think that you play it there, but it's like I feel like people are overhyping this and saying that you're going to play it in other decks. But like Squash, do you think you're playing this in decks that aren't running Zombie Scarlet Witch and Werewolf by Night?
I guess
Unless
in
it's a meta call.
like in those people's heads, they're probably thinking of this as like, ooh, this is a fun little tech card that I get to run. This is not a tech card for me. This is a like proactive piece of my game plan that
Yeah.
it's a one energy skill on reveal. That's what I
Yeah.
care about, and it
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
something that can affect games. You know, like this is better than Web Sling for Zombie Scarlet Witch's purposes. I think you know what I mean because
Mhm.
it is affecting power. It can. There are plenty of 3 or less cards where removing the text box is powerful. So it's Red Guardian is an example of one of my favorite tech cards of all time in Marvel Snap, and I'm someone that doesn't typically put tech cards in my deck, but Red Guardian was a exception for a while, and that's because I just think this style of tech is more interesting than what like Shang-Chi and Shadow King do. And I
Yeah. Then like a Storm Six. Yeah.
yeah, so this is super interesting to me. It really is just like you're only playing this if it goes in like decks where you would want to run. It doesn't necessarily go in every like Merlin deck, but usually Merlin decks are playing him because they want the one energy on reveals. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I think it's like that kind of stuff. So what and we're getting to a point where it's like every card in this episode is like, oh, that might go in a horde deck, and it's like there's got
Yeah.
to be a critical mass that we're
Yeah.
breaking through
Yeah.
eventually. But I just can't see how this isn't crazy in like the decks that I've been playing the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Okay. It probably should be 4 stars because of the horde thing. You're probably right. I tend to undervalue or understar cards when I think that other people are like gonna jam this and everything, and I don't agree with
yeah,
that, and then I
yeah,
just give it lower stars than it really should be. So you're probably right in that. Do you think that we're playing this over Red Guardian in like every deck? Are we still running Red Guardian in some instances? Like, because what I liked was like Merlin with Red Guardian, then you can evolve or polymorph the Red Guardian, or once in future the Red Guardian,
sure.
and obviously you can't do that with Deafening Chord. Is there other reasons why I would want to run Red Guardian over Deafening Chord?
I
And what
think
would you star Red Guardian right now?
I think Red Guardian still makes sense in certain like Wiccan decks, especially Afflict, which is typically built with Wiccan right now, just because there's the three falls into the curve better, and like there are times where removing a bigger text box is relevant for a deck that kind of has like not as large of a ceiling anymore. Afflict I feel like is not the top meta deck right now by any means, but um that's where I would see it, but you really don't see Red Guardian that much in the meta anymore. Ever since they dropped it from 3/3, so I think he's just kind of not that great, and I think Deafening Chord is a better card in their current states.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna miss out on your Iron Man hits though. Just remember that. You can't
True,
hit
and
Iron
that
Man.
boy, that can feel really good when it happens. I will say that.
You can. You
Yeah.
can.
But you can hit, I mean, like you're gonna be able to hit an enemy zombie Scarlet Witch or something, and they're gonna feel real bad, real
Yeah,
bad.
that
And
is true. You are gonna want priority in that deck, huh?
yeah, that's a good thing to think
Get it
about. And
before
it
the
could like
cost.
push me away from because I've been running the hood in all of my zombie Scarlet Witch decks. Maybe I want to be a little bit more like get power on the board early with this kind of card. I'm super open to experimenting with it. So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
next
Okay.
card is
All right. I would give it a 4 star. You're right.
okay. Well, the next card, I think, is not going to be a 4-star for anyone. Although I do love this variant. Hydro Man. He is a 5/8. On reveal, set the cost of each deck's top card to 1. So you're highlighting Mobius, which is really
Yeah.
annoying, but also just
Yeah.
completely true. It's obviously that's true because you're negating the buff that your opponent would get from Hydro Man, so it's totally one-sided. Seems pretty good. Um, Beyond that, like you're not gonna play Howard the Duck with this, so you're totally just winging it. You know what I mean? And he costs
Yeah.
5 anyway, so it's not like you really have liberty on when you're playing this. You have to play it on 5 unless you ramped. But if you ramped, you probably played Electro, and you're not going to be able to play multiple cards
Yeah.
unless they're anyway. So very narrow scope on this guy, but like I could totally see there being a deck with Mobius that plays this on 5, and you don't care that much about what he hits. You're just kind of getting like a nice tempo play for turn 6. Maybe it's a deck that like tops out with 5 energy payoffs otherwise, you know what I mean? Like so you could play whatever this guy turns into a 1 cost alongside like your Dark Hawk or something or Ajax or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
there's potential here. It's not the most interesting card I've ever seen, but I think 2-star is reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know. I for some reason I think it's just the art because I really like this variant that I'm
It
like
is
really
sweet.
excited for this card for no reason, and I realize that I'm probably not gonna play it much, and it's not gonna be that good.
Right.
But like I love the idea of Mobius into this, and it just makes me happy. Like, can I just be happy, Squash? Can I not actually imagine what the next play is? Because I'm playing a 5/8, which isn't really that good.
Yeah.
Um, can I just pretend that that was really good and not like think about the turn 6 and the fact that I played a 3/3 and all this stuff? Like, let me just be happy here, Squash, okay? So, Hydra Man, I don't know. It's probably bad. You know, I like the idea of some kind of pixie deck where you're also running Hydra Man and you just try to chop your deck full of like these like Annihilus with Sentry or like these two
Okay.
card combos that like are
Yeah.
really good
Yeah,
at the
there you
same
go.
time that you can't normally do at the same time. I think that that's really cool and interesting, and it really makes me want this to work. But I just know like 5/8 is really small, and if you're not hitting something good, it's like I played a 5/8. so
Yeah.
so it's just tough, you know. And
It's
if you don't get the Mobius, half the time you help your opponent. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's got
It
to
has its
be
problem.
these like 5+1 final turns. That's where we
Yeah.
have to explore with this. And there
Yes.
could definitely be something. Like I don't think this is even a ramp deck card, which is where I think
No.
most people are going to be like,
No.
"Huh, this just looks like wave, kind of a different kind of wave, you know?" This is
Yeah.
more of a like mid-range deck card where you're trying to have a like just kind of a beefy turn 6 where you're pairing a 4
Yes.
or 5 with
Yes.
whatever this hits. So,
Yeah.
there's
So
potential.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. So like it's just like you want to play like a claw plus an Iron Man or whatever on turn
Yeah.
6, right?
Yeah,
Like that's what I imagined with this deck. It's just 5 drops really suck, Squash.
they do.
They really do. Like, why did we nerf claw? Why did we do that?
Yeah, they have not
There's nothing.
they have not really addressed that issue still to this day. There, if you scroll through the
Yeah.
fives, there's so much garbage like Spider Woman that's just sitting there.
Yes.
Like, what
Yes.
is happening? So a little
Yeah, so
disappointing.
I think that there's a world where like we play a deck full of like black, these Black Bolt statures where you're playing this big 1 drop, like a demon or a stature, like those kinds of decks. But
Yep.
instead, in this deck, you're playing Hydro Man
Yeah.
and you're playing your big, ideally you top deck some 5 costs because your deck is full of 5 costs and another 5 cost on turn 6, and it's like happy. But I don't think that this is the world that we're in right now. So
You
maybe in the future, if we get like a bunch of 5 drops that are really impactful, this could work. But for now, just it's no for me right now.
you know what's the real nightmare is if you're playing this card, you miss your Mobius and your opponent plays Mobius.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
stop it.
Ooh. You are not
Yeah,
playing that game out. Or at least you
they
can't
play it
play
on
this
5.
card. Oh.
Yeah, they play it on turn 5 when you play the Hydra Man. You can't take it back.
Retreat, man. Yeah, okay. Sweet variant, though. You are absolutely right.
Yes.
Oh, and now we have arrived at the main event of the month.
Yes.
The Prowler, who is a 3/4 on reveal, add 2 Thief's Tools to your hand. Set their cost to 0 if a card moved last turn. Do you have the Thief's Tools on a separate slide, or do we just
I
have
have them on
two?
the next slide if you want to go there first.
Okay, yeah, and then I can bop around. In the Thieves'
Yeah.
Tools, there is Remote Mines. All of them cost 1, and all of them are on reveals. Remote Mines does afflict the 2 highest power enemy cards here with -2 power. The Vibro Shock Gauntlets gives your highest power card here +2 power, and you get +1 energy next turn. And the Flight Harness gives your highest power card here +1 power and move it to the right. So basically, it's another one of these like toolbox designs like Kate Bishop, Nico, Merlin. There might be a couple of them that I'm not remembering, but those are
Yeah.
the big ones that have seen like
Yeah.
eternal play in Marvel Snap. Like these cards are great. They've never been nerfed or buffed. They're still great to this day, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. This looks like a card that wants you to deck build around it a little bit more, in that it wants you to be moving something before you play this guy, because the one cost duders are like they're good, but when these things are 0, this card is completely bananas. So I think this might be a guy that doesn't have as wide of a range of decks as cards like Nico, Kate, or Merlin, but the decks where you can realistically activate that effect that makes their costs to 0 while also still like being able to deck build with cards that benefit from these things, you could be in store for something extremely powerful. Like the power ceiling on this guy when everything's working in harmony is like spectacular. So extremely excited to mess with this card and just see what kinds of stuff we can build with it. The amount of stuff that can go with him is pretty vast, I think, beyond just like you need a mover to turn him on, but then you like, do you want to go horde with him, or like what are we doing beyond that? That's what I'm really interested in. Let's hear your breakdown.
Squash. I could talk for like an hour about it. So cool.
It is
I
super cool.
love this. The art is amazing.
It is.
In terms of Earth for like getting him to proc 3 with the it's Spider-Man. It's just so it's so well designed. Spider-Man, it's just it's there's lore, not lore, what flavor? There's flavor here. I love that.
It's true.
Um it's so cool. I love that there's skills, because like half of the issue with Kate Bishop is that like these are decent arrows that have different effects, but like you can clog yourself a lot of the time with them
Yep.
because they are one drop. That's just the inherent issue with one drops. But these are skills, Squash. These are skills.
I love
So they're
skills.
amazing with Werewolf by Night. They're amazing with Zombie Scarlet Witch. They're not going to clog you. Um, so let's talk about a little bit more, right? This is 3 cost, and the skills really want to be played at the latest. At least Vibro Shock Gauntlets, and maybe even Remote Mines. Those want to be played on like turn 5 because you like having that board space on turn 6, right? You
Yep.
you like having 3 cards by turn 4, turn 5. You play a skill in there, and you still have space for turn 5 for turn 6, right? Um, and so you want to get a mover beforehand, and so the kind of mini problem is that if you play Werewolf by Night by turn 3, you can't get 0 cost tools off of Prowler until turn 5.
Yeah.
And then you can't get like the extra energy or whatever. That's like a small issue, but they're just 1 cost skills, so you don't really care about discounting them in that scenario, right? Or like maybe you have Sam Wilson and you just happen to play Sam Wilson turn 2, and now you have 0 cost tools, and you still have played your Zombie Scarlet Witch or your Werewolf by Night on curve, right? Like, it's so good, Squash. It's such a good card. You have Flight Harness as just like a gotcha. You have a built-in Ghost Spider where
Yeah.
you can ditch a lane. That's so good, Squash. Like, and your opponent doesn't know because sometimes you don't even get it, or you can bluff them either way as well. It's insane, Squash. You get energy. We love energy for these kinds of decks where you're playing
100%.
Werewolf by Night. And I, it's just so good. It's so cool. I'm absolutely getting this. I'm getting the Spotlight variant for this, Squash. I think this is the best. I haven't given a 5-star rating in so long.
Hmm.
In so long.
Can you remember the last one that you did?
I God. I would have given it to Mr. Fantastic First Steps, but I didn't do a review that season because the cards were
Oh,
boring.
yeah.
So so I don't think I have since like the last time we recorded. Maybe who knows?
Wow. Okay.
Um, like it, I could barely fit the stars on the screen, Squash. Like, there's so much you can do with this card. And just the fact that I love one cost skills. It's my favorite thing right now. They're so hot. I just watched Zoolander, so like I can say that now. It's so hot right now.
And
Um,
here's like there's even more cool. So like I have been playing horde decks that have Joaquin Torres quite
yes,
often.
yes,
I love that
yes,
guy. You were rocking with it in the Grand Arena in a Mole Man deck, which was sick. I played a bit of that, and these are cool with Joaquin Torres, which is
yes,
like I
yes.
just want to play Vibro Shock Gauntlets on my Joaquin lane, man. Get +2 energy, +4 power, and it's a skill that fades away, doesn't take up board space, and you're just cooking, man. I'm honestly
That is
thinking like
fantastic.
is there a world where we play this in decks that don't even have movers and you just accept you're just playing this for the one
Yeah,
energy
I think
skills?
so.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see that, and I'm so glad you called out Joaquin Phoenix because I totally forgot about him.
He's
That
so
is a
fun.
fantastic synergy. That
Oh
is an
yeah.
insane synergy. Yeah, remote minds. You just get a 1/8,
Yeah.
1/8.
Yeah.
Like we were trying to cram Clea into this deck so we could get a 1/6 with Joaquin, and
Oh
Clea
man.
sucks. Okay, I've tried her so much. She sucks. Okay, this is an actual good card
Yeah.
with Joaquin Phoenix that I don't have to like play crap cards for it to work. Okay,
I love that
like
you're
am
calling
I
him.
playing Nicholas Scratch now? Like
Oh sure. I mean maybe what's the break point where we have enough skills? Like do we have to run Merlin, Hunger, and this? And is that then enough skills for Nicholas Scratch? Like I'm not sure.
maybe.
Do we want like Agamotto as well? I'm not a
No,
huge.
no, 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 no. Slow
Okay,
down there.
okay. And then there's no. I mean, we could run like Deafening Chord, just main deck it, you know. So like,
Well, you can move other stuff. You could so you can move your opponent's stuff as well to activate the Prowler too, right? So like, are you running this in Scream?
oh, I didn't even clock that. Wow. Yeah, I think you would consider this in Scream. I guess I don't really know what Scream decks look like anymore because it's not really
I don't
played.
know. No, right? It's
Yeah,
been a while.
yeah. But like
But you can run it,
that
right? Like this is just another deck that this card plays extremely well in, right?
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. There's no way this card isn't good. I mean, like maybe 3 energy to generate stuff in hand is cursed. Like, is there
Yeah.
an example of that being good?
It's just that's the only problem is it's a 3 drop and it's got that competition. You're getting those one cost skills later in the game, right?
Yeah,
That's the only like bad part I can think about this card. But like I can see plenty of decks where I don't even bother like trying to get the move discount, and I just play it for himself just because I have skill synergies and stuff like that, right?
yeah. Is
I don't know.
like
I'm
is this card weirdly comparable to Mole Man? Like this is better than
Moment,
Mole
yeah,
Man, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to imagine like what if we're overrating it somehow and just like the fact that he's 3 cost is the only way that I can see us overrating it. Like
Yeah,
maybe it's
that's the only.
if you got a deck that's Werewolf by Night and Zombie Scarlet Witch and this, like maybe you're struggling to fit all of them into your turns, you know? I could see that
I
maybe, but I don't
think you
know.
make it work. You make it work because it's just too good. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. In a world, let's just pretend there's a world where Werewolf by Night no longer works with skills. What do we think? Because I can easily see that happening soon.
Dang,
Like we're getting,
that would suck.
I would be sad.
I
I would
would
be
be
sad,
sad.
but like it's really good. It's a really good card. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
Yeah, I could see it. That would hurt this card. But it's definitely still gonna work with like Scarlet
Yeah.
Zombie Scarlet Witch, right? That'd be
Mhm.
crazy for them to take that
Yeah.
out of the game.
And I love Joaquin with that idea
Oh yeah.
with all these and you have Deafening Chord too. Oh my God, that's awesome. That's a great shout out.
I
I'm
want to do
excited. I'm
that.
so excited for Horde decks this season.
Oh
Isn't that? It's kind of funny. Like I'm excited for the October deck to be really good in November.
yeah. Well, a card like Zombie Scarlet Witch is just so juicy with skills, and they keep
Yeah.
printing skills because it's like the newest card type that they developed,
Yeah.
and whenever it came out this year. So
They're awesome designs. I love skills. I
they're
love
really
skills.
fun. It's kind of like the extra juice that I think the game needed in terms of like card diversity,
Yeah.
and it has gone a long way. All right, well, I guess that's we've reached the end, huh? Right about an
Yeah.
hour. That's a
Yeah.
good
We talked for a while. That was a good
that's
talk.
a good decent sized little podcast episode. So
Yeah.
wow, to infinite and beyond. You brought the old logo back, baby. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
Love
Squash, what are you excited to play other than Horde decks? I think that one's
it.
pretty easy to figure out. What are you playing other than that?
um I'm gonna try to make Spider-Man Noir work. I'm gonna try really
Okay.
hard. I'm gonna lose
Okay.
games, but I'm gonna try really hard. And
Okay.
other than that, I guess I would say Superior Spider-Man stuff. I will experiment with Man
I
Spider. I
do.
don't
You,
know. I
do
don't
you
know.
think like because we just talked about Spider Punk possibly in the Zombie Scarlet Witch deck. We talked about Superior Spider-Man in Scarlet Witch deck. We talked about Prowler. That's a lot of three drops, right? Like,
Yeah.
do you think we could run all of these, or are we cutting any of them? You think?
I think like 3 or 4 is a pretty hard cap. It's gonna be hard to go over that because you need your hunger. You need zombie giant man.
Hmm.
Like maybe we're not playing like misery anymore. I've definitely been playing misery in almost
Yeah.
all these.
I think she's core. I love Misery in that deck.
She's crazy. So I don't know. It's gonna be hard to decide, and it could be the kind of thing where like there's just a bunch of different deck configurations, and it doesn't really matter which one you
Yeah.
pick. They're all gonna be pretty
Let's do
good.
it, right? Yeah. Yeah. I could see that.
Heck yeah,
I'm definitely going to be playing Hydro Man. I'm excited to try that and lose a lot with it, but we're going to try to make him work.
my man.
Uh, yeah, we're going to try to do that, and I'll see if I can make some Man Spider thing work. Maybe we can make that work. You know?
I think it'll be okay. I won't be able to get every card, which is like a position I was not
Right.
in when I was doing Marvel Snap
Oh.
content back in the day. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I, I have to pick and choose. There's no way I'm not getting Prowler, so I'm keeping the
Yeah.
6K stashed, and we'll just see what I can do. Other than that, I really need to get my. I think it's what's nice is that I think Web Sling and Deafening Chord are both Series 4, so
Yes.
quite a bit easier to pick those up. So that's a
Yep.
relief. So shout out Second
Yep.
Dinner.
And Hydro Man is going to be free with Sanctum Sanctorum
Okay.
game mode as well.
Dang, there's gonna be a lot of Mobius after people pick him up. I guarantee
Yeah.
that.
Hey, I wanted to ask you as like as a closing thing, you know, we've kind of transitioned into a lot more cards coming out. Um, and like I don't want to necessarily talk about like the economy stuff and stuff like that because I think that they kind of balanced it out to be fair. But what do you think about like so many cards coming out? What because like for me, I think that it's great to have more cards to be able to experiment, but it does kind of take away from like, okay, this is the card of the week. Let me try and make a deck for it. Oh, this other card also came out at the same time, so I can only really give attention to one of them. You know what I mean? What have you felt like going into Marvel Snap, coming back into it, and seeing all these different cards coming at the same time?
I was worried that it would feel overwhelming, but I think that they have kind of the right like balance here. And it's you say you didn't want to talk about the economy. I do think that you can't really talk about this without talking about the economy of the game. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And
Hmm.
they've got it at a point where as someone who came back to the game after a break and was missing, like 30 cards or something, I feel like I'm collecting them faster than they're coming out. And
Okay.
I've spent some money, but I'm not, so I can't attest to like a completely free to play kind of experience, but
Hmm.
I think like I see my pools dwindling, and it's kind of satisfying to see that, because it's like, okay, now my odds of getting X or Y are better than they were after the last poll. Even when I
Yeah.
pull a card I wasn't necessarily looking for, it's like, okay, the pool just got smaller, so more likely that I can get that. And it kind of harkened back to like the original Series 3 experience way back when the game was still fresh and new. And I it's not the popular opinion, but I liked that experience. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've been enjoying it really. Like I get new stuff to play with relatively often. I think that the 3,000 token chunks are given to you pretty reasonably, and I like that they're building snap packs into just random rewards. Like there was that 7-day login or whatever, and at the end of the 7 days, you get a Series 5 pack, and I just think that's great. So they're doing a good job, and they had to do a good job in this because the game was gonna suffer otherwise, and I think they would have, that changes like this only come out of necessity. Generally, they wouldn't have worked on this if they didn't have to. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it worked out, at least as from the perspective of somebody who was just unbelievably obsessed with the game, spent a ton of money in the first 2 years or so of me playing it, and
That's,
took a break and came back. And I'm happy to give them money again because I think it's a cadence that is better than the old cadence, honestly.
that's good. I'm glad to hear that we have a player back that we can discuss. I'm really glad we got to do this video. I don't know how much you've seen of what is it, December season. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited to talk about that season with you as well. So listeners, stay tuned. There's a Thanos support card that I
Oh,
look forward to talking about.
okay.
There's a card that works with Nick Fury pretty well. So I'm
Nick
really excited to
Fury.
talk about that one.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really excited for that season to talk about with you. So I look forward to hopefully doing a couple more of these. Yeah.
I'll be ready. But until then, I guess I'll sign us off. This has been To Infinite and Beyond. We're back, baby. Thanks for watching.